Hello. Everybody can hear me? Also in the back? Perfect. Perfect. So, let's start with a quick introduction. My name is Shimon Koifman, and I'm leading the customer-facing product team at reBuy. I'm responsible on everything that our customer kind of experience from the first impression until the post-purchase. But I would like to start with raise of hands. How many of you actually have a mobile device in your house that it's kind of old and it's somewhere in some kind of a drawer? With raise of hand? Good 50+%. How many of you have old DVDs or books or Blu-rays that you have and you don't know what to do with? Also 30-40%. Good. This is my daughter. Her name is Aviv, and she's going to turn 8 in April. She likes Lego. She likes to play with the Lego. She can play hours Lego. But she's not really the customer. We, as her parents, have the kind of burden to go to the internet and browse to different websites and to compare different prices and to sort and filter and to do all those things so she'll be able to play the Lego. So in the core of the experience of our work is actually identifying who is the customer, what are the needs, and what do the customer want. And before I go and talk about reBuy, the company that I work for, let me give you a quick introduction about reCommerce. So reCommerce refers to the process of buying and selling used goods. So people can actually buy and sell products that are refurbished, but in a very good condition. And this is exactly what we're doing. But there is a deeper meaning to the work that we're doing, because we really believe that we help to reduce the worldwide electronic waste by expanding the product's lifetime. So it's not only buying and selling those used goods. There is a deep meaning to that work. And I really believe that buying a used product like an iPhone 8 is not only as good as new, but it can actually feel like even better than new because you're doing something good for the world. Let me give you some stats about reBuy. So currently we have around 5 million customers. A customer is someone that either bought something from us or sold us something. We have operational hub here in Berlin and Poznan. Our headquarters is in Schöneberg. And we handle around 100,000 products on a daily basis. Product is something that we either buy or sell. In terms of revenue development, from 2014, we grow of around more than 20% year on year. So you cannot see here a hockey stick growth, but we have a consistent growth, and 2018 will be around 140 million in net sales. So it's a pretty big company with 600 employees. And what is unique about us? I mean, the things that we are buying and selling in terms of categories. So our world is kind of divided into two. So we buy and sell media products, and here in Germany, as probably some of you know, people are still watching DVDs and still watching Blu-rays and buying and selling them. So obviously it's part of our market. But our biggest growth comes from consumer electronics, where we see massive growth of more than 50% on products like mobile devices, tablets, and things like that. But this is really a way to look on the business from a one-dimensional perspective on the categories. It is more like the sale. And every company in the world will tell you, oh, we are customer-centric, oh, we are customer-obsessed. But only few companies are really building a structure and building teams to solve real customer problems. And in this presentation, I'm going to show you the things that we did at reBuy, especially in the product team, to support our customers. So once we've decided that we really need to look at our customers from a user-centric scenario, from a user perspective, we started some kind of a transition. And we started building teams when looking on a complete user journeys. And this comes again to the first slide that I show you about Aviv, that the biggest question that we ask ourselves all the time is not how we can upsell or cross-sell on a specific category or what happens with the handies as a category. It's more like what is the customer really wants. So let me give you some introduction of the things that we've did. Before that, we had one big team that supports the needs based on priorities. So people from sales or marketing or business development would come and say, hey, this is what we think will work. We need to buy a new coupon system and we need to implement it. And we changed that. We changed that by building teams around customer journeys. And before that, we have big, huge projects that took us months to implement, and then we might prove something or we might disprove something. And we change that. And we start looking at themes and we start looking on specific missions. When I joined reBuy, I started as a product manager for the mobile team, and I asked my team, hey, show me the data that you use to watch customer journeys. And most of the engineers told me, we don't really look at data. Marketing people look at data and they tell us which data we need to track. And I was kind of amazed by that. I said, okay, the first months of my work here, we have to actually build our data so everybody will look at data and build great product for our customers. And as you know, I don't know how many of you are product people or participating in product development, but most of the time, especially when a company kind of finds product market fit, we mainly are guessing on, okay, what's going to be next. We are mainly are guessing about what's going to be the improvement that's going to move the needle for our customers. And we are here for more than 14 years at reBuy, so everybody have bad ideas most of the time. But the difference is that now we can measure and quickly ship products and then measure our success or not, versus just guessing and shipping something. And to do that, to discover those opportunities, I'm a big fan of using the whole tools that are there. So our toolbox is using session recordings and heat maps and user research and conducting surveys and looking at data to discover the opportunities, to discover what the customer really needs. Testing is something that is core in the success of our business, because this is the only way that we can actually measure the impact of our work. So hypothesis is something that we focus on, meaning if someone has an idea, everybody in the company should be able to understand what is the hypothesis around that idea. And obviously we search for 95 significance, and we try to run our experiments for longer than 2 weeks, so you'll have enough data to take the right decision and then communicate that decision. This is someone that is working on our logistics center. That person's responsibility is on the buying process of when someone sells us a mobile device, we take that device and we make sure that it is in the same condition that it was stated by the customer. And this is, our business model is pretty complex because many times we see that there are big amount of conflicts between what the customer thinks the condition of the device versus the reality of the used device. So in the selling process, we have those 4 steps. The online grading happens on either the mobile apps or mobile web or desktop, where we ask specific questions about the condition of a device, for example, a mobile device. Then people are sending those devices to us. Only 80% of them after grading send it, so we are losing 20%. People decide not to send the device eventually. Then that acceptance part where I showed you before, where is the process of someone is grading and making sure the product is in good condition. We will refurbish and we clean that product, and then we pay out the money for the customer and make sure we make that product available for other people to buy it. So let me give you a few examples of one of the things that we've did to improve the customer kind of experience and life cycle there. So we've identified that the drop-off rate is around 80% on the grading page. And this is just by looking at data. But then we run online surveys and also in-person surveys, and we identify that people give us feedback that the page looks pretty heavy for them. And then we started running some experiments. And one of those experiments, we said, let's try to build a step-by-step grading process where we create more focus and more clarity about our customers, about the questions that we ask. And there's an opportunity to read more and understand what does it mean when we ask, do you have scratches? What does it mean when we ask, do you have dying pixels? Or how does it look like? Or is it functioning properly? And those are the results. So we had 6% uplift in add to carts from that page, and 4% actually finished that grading process. And that's pretty hard. Our success rate in experiments is around 10%. So we will run 10 experiments to have only one successful. Most of them will be flat, people don't care. Some of them would be negative, not fun, but at least we'll learn something about the customers. And usually one would be successful. 80% of people are sending us their already graded products, as I said before. But 17% of products will be trashed because they are dysfunctional, because some of the people think that we are kind of a garbage place, and they would send us devices that are simply not working. So what we tried to do is we tried to create even more clarity and be more specific by adding child questions when we ask people things. And that created 4% less conflicts. You have to understand that those kind of one-digit numbers are pretty critical to the success of our business, because every conflict generates some of the people would like to get their device back, and it impacts customer satisfaction, which is obviously something that is very important for us. Now going back and talking about our selling process, and this is kind of a traditional e-commerce flow where we sell used goods in the categories that we've talked about. And here things are probably, or most of you are familiar with, right? So first impression is super important, trust, clarity, discoverability should be very clear, sophisticated and high level of search and filtering capabilities, and then payment method and a very simple checkout process is also part of the game. But one of the things that we wanted to focus on is looking at our wish list. And you have to understand that in that specific business, you would see that wish lists for used goods are different than wish lists for new products. And we've identified that offering our customer better UX of the wish list will allow them to generate more uplift in add to carts. And we moved from control to variation. And then we saw 5% uplift on add to carts on desktop and 8% on mobile. And obviously, it has a significant impact on our business. And the other thing that we've tested extensively is looking at our product detail page. What is the product that we are selling? What is the information that we are showing? What is the difference between someone that is interested in a video game versus someone that is interested in buying a camera or something like that, right? And we tried extensively to optimize our consumer electronics product detail page. That wasn't that easy, but we actually had a pretty strong success, a very good progress with our media pages, where we had that hypothesis of creating more clarity. And that actually resulted with 5% more add to carts and 3% on purchasing. So those small incremental improvements actually has a massive effect on customer satisfaction, on conversion rate, on customer happiness, and obviously on the top line and bottom line of the business. So to summarize, it's really important to build teams and processes to support the specific business goals when the company scales. When you want to scale together with the company, it's really hard to still have this kind of centralized approach of all requirements coming from marketing and sales and executive, and you need to have teams that are empowered to solve specific customer needs. And it's super important to use your complete toolbox to make sure you have a very, very strong kind of hypothesis and good testing roadmap. And as usual, it's super important to keep moving and do it really, really fast. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all of that wonderful information. We've got some time for questions. Who's got the first question? To raise your hand. And wow, look at this. You got questions right away. I knew it.
Perfect.
Hold on one second. I'll bring you the microphone, sir.
How do you approach recruiting users for customer interviews? So how do you gather feedback from real people?
So what we try to do is thanks for that. What we try to do is kind of based on our personas of people that we identify that are buying media or CE, we have incentives for them, and we just invite them to our offices and we conduct those interviews. So the process is kind of straightforward. There was nothing really super special or very hard about that. Acceptance rate wasn't super high. It's not like we interviewed hundreds of people, but we had the opportunity to interview dozens of people.
Next question here.
My question is about how do you collect the data? You said that you are generating heat maps on your screen, so you must know pretty exactly what all these people do on the website. Do you record every event in advance, including hover overs and so on? Or do you select what to record based on your project or feature in question?
Thanks. So what we are doing is we have our common or standard things that we are tracking, which is most of the interaction that customers are doing in our website and in our app. And we connect it to our testing data, so we can identify every user that is either on control or in variation. And then we see that anonymous information in our Power BI platform, where we can look at 20 to 50 different metrics, including specific actions on the website. But hovers and scrolls and heat maps, yes, is something that we are doing, but it's not a core metric that we are tracking. This is kind of a more complementary metric.
Great, thank you. Next question, hi.
Hello. So I'm not sure if you already mentioned, but for example, you cannot track the demand here, so, and you don't know how many items the customers will send to you in the beginning to your company to be sold through you. And how do you manage your inventory level then? Because you may not predict if the item would be sellable or not. And the second question is, what's the difference between eBay and you, for example? Why wouldn't I go to eBay and come to your website? Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. So for the first question, I think I can give you a partial answer. I think our sales department will be able to give you a better answer. But what I can tell you is that we have a mechanism that we built that we are able to track the availability and based on demand of our customers. And it's mainly we look at how many people arrive to product detail page on a specific page, and then we can see how many people are interested in that specific product based on the stock level that we currently have. But it's more sophisticated than that, and our salespeople know more about that. Regarding the second question, so eBay is a P2P platform most of the time. So eBay enables buying and selling products between people. We are a man in the middle kind of. Our business model is that we are buying those products, and then we are making sure those products are in great condition, and then we provide 36 months of guarantee to those products with repairs, and then we can sell those products. So the level of trust is way higher on our platform.
Great, any other questions? One more somewhere? All right, great. How about another round of applause for Shimon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.